It was May 19, 1986. The night sky over Brazil was about to become a stage for one of the most compelling UFO events in history. It began with a trickle of reports. Air traffic controllers across the country started picking up unusual readings on their radar screens. These weren't rogue aircraft or weather anomalies. Something unknown was moving in Brazilian airspace. Pilots flying near São José dos Campos, a city known for its aerospace industry, were the first to visually confirm the radar blips. They described seeing bright, fast-moving objects that defied easy explanation. These weren't stray lights or weather balloons. These were structured craft, displaying maneuverability far beyond any known technology. As more pilots reported their sightings, a sense of astonishment mixed with apprehension began to grip the nation. The objects, varying in color and luminosity, moved with incredible speed and agility. They darted across the sky, changing direction abruptly, hovering silently, and accelerating at impossible rates. This was no ordinary air traffic. The sheer number of sightings, coupled with the credibility of the witnesses, made it clear that something extraordinary was unfolding. The Brazilian Air Force was about to face one of its most challenging nights. As reports from pilots and radar operators flooded in, the Brazilian Air Force sprang into action. This wasn't just a case of unidentified blips on a screen. These were visual confirmations from trained professionals. The situation demanded a swift and decisive response. Fighter jets were scrambled from different air bases, ordered to intercept and identify the unknown objects. Among them were the F-5 Tiger II, a supersonic fighter jet known for its speed and maneuverability. The pilots, the best the Brazilian Air Force had to offer, were tasked with approaching the objects and gathering more information. What followed was a series of tense encounters between man and machine, though the nature of the machine remained a mystery. The pilots, trained to identify and react to all kinds of airborne threats, found themselves outmatched. The objects seemed to defy the laws of physics. Reports from the cockpits were stunning. The objects would change their positions in an instant, appearing and disappearing from radar, sometimes even surrounding the jets in a dazzling aerial display. The pilots, despite their training and experience, were left bewildered by what they were witnessing. On the ground, radar operators struggled to maintain lock on the unidentified objects. The objects, defying all expectations, would change altitude and direction with breathtaking speed. They moved in ways that seemed impossible for conventional aircraft. Some radar readings indicated speeds exceeding 1,500 miles per hour, far beyond the capabilities of any known aircraft at the time. These weren't just fast objects, they were performing maneuvers that seemed to defy inertia. Sharp, instantaneous turns, rapid ascents, and sudden stops. The objects were playing a game of cosmic tag, and the radar systems were struggling to keep up. The data collected from these radar tracks would later become crucial in analyzing the event. Scientists and researchers, studying the trajectories and speeds, would be baffled by the sheer improbability of the object's movements. The data pointed towards a technology far beyond anything known to exist on Earth. The evidence was mounting. This was no ordinary event. The radar data, combined with the visual confirmations from the pilots, painted a picture of a technology far ahead of anything humankind possessed. In the wake of the events on May 19, 1986, the Brazilian government took the unprecedented step of publicly acknowledging the incident. This wasn't a case of sweeping strange lights under the rug. The sheer scale of the event, combined with the credibility of the witnesses, demanded a transparent response. Brigadier José Carlos Pereira, the Brazilian Air Force's chief of communications, held a press conference. He confirmed that multiple unidentified objects had been tracked on radar and visually confirmed by experienced pilots. This wasn't a case of misidentification or equipment malfunction. The Brazilian Air Force was openly admitting that something extraordinary had transpired in their airspace. Furthermore, the government released the radar data and pilot testimonies to the public, a move rarely seen in cases involving potential national security concerns. This level of transparency signaled a commitment to uncovering the truth, whatever it may be. The Brazilian government's willingness to openly acknowledge the event marked a turning point in the way governments dealt with UFO incidents. It challenged the traditional approach of secrecy and denial, paving the way for a more open and honest discussion about the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation. The pilots who were scrambled to intercept the UFOs provided some of the most compelling testimonies of the night. These weren't civilians mistaking birds for otherworldly craft. These were highly trained professionals, accustomed to identifying all manner of aircraft, and they were stunned by what they encountered. Captain Osiris Silva, a respected pilot with a distinguished career, described chasing a bright, disc-shaped object that moved with impossible agility. He recounted how the object would change direction instantly, leaving his jet trailing behind, unable to match its speed or maneuverability. His testimony, devoid of sensationalism, was a matter-of-fact account of an encounter with an advanced, unknown technology. Another pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Armindo Nito, described an object that surrounded his jet with a bright, pulsating light. He reported that his instruments malfunctioned while in proximity to the object, only to return to normal once the object had moved away. His experience suggested that the objects possessed some form of energy or field that could interfere with electronic equipment. The consistency of the pilot testimonies across different locations and experiences added another layer of credibility to the event. These weren't isolated accounts, but a chorus of voices from the sky, all echoing the same incredible story. The events of May 19, 1986 weren't just confined to the skies above Brazil. On the ground, thousands of people across various cities witnessed the strange lights, becoming unintentional participants in this extraordinary event. From bustling city streets to quiet suburban neighborhoods, people gazed upward in awe and bewilderment as the unidentified objects soared through the night sky. They described seeing brightly lit objects, often changing color, that moved silently and swiftly, leaving trails of light in their wake. These weren't fleeting glimpses. Some witnesses described observing the objects for several minutes, their movements defying the capabilities of any known aircraft. Many reported feelings of awe and wonder, while others admitted to a sense of unease at the sight of such advanced and unknown technology maneuvering above their homes. The sheer volume of eyewitness accounts from the ground added another dimension to the already compelling body of evidence. It wasn't just the military that witnessed this event, it was a shared experience for thousands of Brazilian citizens, forever etching the night of May 19th into their memories. Despite the wealth of evidence, radar data, pilot testimonies, eyewitness accounts, and even government acknowledgement, the events of the night of the UFOs remain largely unexplained. Decades later, no definitive answers have emerged to solve the mystery of what exactly transpired in the skies above Brazil that night. Skeptical explanations, while offered, fail to fully address the totality of the evidence. Hypotheses attributing the sightings to weather phenomena or equipment malfunction don't hold up against the consistent and detailed accounts from multiple reliable sources. The objects displayed a level of technology and maneuverability far exceeding anything known to be within human capabilities at the time. Their ability to appear and disappear from radar, execute instantaneous changes in direction, and travel at supersonic speeds suggests a mastery of physics that continues to elude human understanding. The lack of a definitive explanation, despite decades of analysis and speculation, only adds to the intrigue of the night of the UFOs. It serves as a potent reminder that our universe still holds mysteries that challenge our current understanding of science and technology. The night of the UFOs in Brazil shares striking similarities with other well-documented UFO incidents around the world. This isn't an isolated case of strange lights in the sky. It's part of a global pattern of encounters that suggest a phenomenon far more widespread than many realize. The high speeds, erratic movements, and ability to appear and disappear from radar observed in Brazil echo the characteristics of UFO sightings reported by pilots and military personnel in the United States, such as the Nimitz encounter in 2004. These similarities point to a potential consistency in the behavior and capabilities of these unidentified objects, regardless of geographical location. Furthermore, the Brazilian government's openness in acknowledging the incident and releasing data mirrors a growing trend of transparency regarding UFO information seen in countries like the United States, where previously classified documents are slowly being made public. The global nature of these encounters, coupled with the increasingly open approach to disclosure, suggests a paradigm shift in how governments and institutions approach the UFO phenomenon. The night of the UFOs over Brazil stands as a watershed moment in the history of UFO research. It wasn't just the compelling nature of the event itself, but the way it was handled by the Brazilian government that set it apart. By publicly acknowledging the incident, releasing radar data and pilot testimonies, and engaging in open discussions about the possibility of UFOs, Brazil challenged the traditional stigma associated with the subject. This unprecedented level of transparency helped to legitimize UFO research in the eyes of many, paving the way for a more serious and scientific approach to the study of this phenomenon. The event also highlighted the limitations of human understanding when it comes to advanced technology. The objects observed over Brazil displayed capabilities far beyond anything known to exist on Earth, forcing scientists and researchers to confront the possibility of technology far more sophisticated than our own. The Night of the UFO serves as a stark reminder that our knowledge of the universe is far from complete. It encourages us to approach the unknown with open minds, seeking answers and pushing the boundaries of our understanding.